Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Manchester City are yet again off to the Etihad South, Wembley as we affectionately call it. City are back there again because we're going to the FA Cup semi-finals after a 2-0 victory over Newcastle United, and it felt good to witness that. It really did. It felt like Manchester City of old, and what I mean by that is the Manchester City of last season. This was a comprehensive, smart, intelligent and precise game of football, and a 2-0 victory is just what the doctor ordered. It was fun, and there was loads of nice little narratives that came from it as well. It did drag a little, I'll be honest. It felt like the first half was a long way from the second half. It wasn't the most scintillating at times, but that doesn't mean it wasn't enjoyable. That doesn't mean it wasn't a professional job well done, and it doesn't mean it wasn't a good performance by Manchester City. I think it was. This had the potential to be a reasonably tricky game. Newcastle aren't flying by any stretch of the imagination. They're currently 10th in the Premier League, and it hasn't really been the reality that they expected given their Champions League credentials. But at the same time, they have quality there and good players that can go forward and offer a little bit of trauma to Manchester City if they give them the chance. So this was meant to be a difficult day, but City were fine. They were composed. They were good. No De Bruyne, but still, we had the answers to the questions that Newcastle posed, and we were solid, which is what I wanted to see today. I wanted to see a City side that were compact, composed, controlled the game, and felt like we'd just rolled it back a little bit and were City of the last season that we got to know and fell in love with as an all-timer side. And that's what we saw signs of. Different, but the same at the same time. And I enjoyed it an awful lot. Of course, we're there due to a brace of deflected Bernardo Silva goals. Once again, you buy a ticket and you win the lottery. You don't buy a ticket, you're not going to win the lottery. Simple as that. Bernardo Silva bought a couple of tickets and got a couple of goals today. It's a cliche, but it's true for a reason. You got to take the chance. You got to take a chance on a chance. And Bernardo Silva, 2 shots deflected in. Very fortuitous, but you can't say that City didn't deserve to be in that draw for the semi-finals. They absolutely do, because they were the better side for a while. Throughout the entire game. Newcastle had a couple of moments. An easy chance in the first half, saved well from Ortega. And then, what else? That was sort of it, really. A header wide, I think. Not much going on other than that. City limited them to 2 shots, just the 1 on target. I think another counter went forward where the ball went to 𝙏𝙬𝙨𝙧, but his touch was bad and Akanji pushed him wide and we were all right in that position. Newcastle are too good not to create anything with the quality that they got going forward. Anthony Gordon, Almiron's pace and energy. Jacob Murphy's a dynamic attacker from wide. 𝙏𝙬𝙨𝙧 is a good footballer going forward. They've got quality. They're going to create the odd chance here and there. But ultimately, City were just absolutely comfortable. I want to talk about Mateo Kovacic. Look, the game was crying out for Kovacic against Liverpool. It absolutely was. It was really obvious to anyone paying any kind of attention that Kovacic was needed to kind of sort of counter their rabid and aggressive press at Anfield. And I think today was another example of what he showed in that 20-minute cameo against Liverpool. He brings a composure and a maturity to this City side that right now is a necessity. It's essential that City play Kovacic in games that matter. I really think it's that important. I think Kovacic, alongside Rodri, provides our most stable base, and it provides City a little bit of composure. I've said this a few times, but I'm going to kind of sort of bang the drum again. Most sides get the bit between their teeth and get excited when they have a shot on goal that the keeper saves well. Of course, that gets City going as well. But I feel like City under Guardiola are built in a different way. What gets Manchester City really going is when they complete 30, 40 passes in a row. When City just have 5 minutes of keeping the ball really nicely, suddenly you see the shoulders, the posture becomes better. They look more confident. Players caress the ball. They treat is so much more securely, and that's what City need. When City have someone like Kovacic who doesn't give the ball away, and I've got to bring 𝙏𝙬𝙨𝙧 Vardy into that conversation as well, by the way. I thought 𝙏𝙬𝙨 had a really smart game today. When we keep the ball really intelligently, we look more like ourselves, which is probably why people have been craving a reality where Gundogan still exists, or a fully fit Jack Grealish, because I think when City play at their best, they are composed, they are controlled, and they know what they're doing at every single moment. And that's what we get when we've got Kovacic in midfield. Not always, he's not perfect, he doesn't change the world. I'm not going to argue that he's the answer to all our solutions, but he's a big part of this potential solution. And I think when you've got the solid wall that is Kovacic and Rodri, both press resistant, both extremely experienced and brilliant midfielders, But then you play someone like a Kevin De Bruyne, or today a Phil Foden ahead of him, you get a really dynamic midfield. Phil today, by the way, electric. Phil was playing today as a classic number 10, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. That particular flick and turn, by the way, when he went through and goal, magic. That is the stuff that you saw Figo, Ronaldinho, Zidane, all these people do. That was Zidane, by the way. That was Zidane. I'm watching it again. It's pure Zidane. And these people that lauded as all-time greats, Phil does that. And he did it a few times today. Another 1-2 flick with Doku in the second half that led to a chance. Just delightful stuff. And Phil, look, he's nearly scored the greatest goal you've ever seen a few times. Such a smart footballer. He's getting better and more confident, and he's thriving in that number 10 role. And I love watching him today. He didn't get the assist or the goal or anything like that, but still absolute magic stuff from a magic footballer. I also thought Doku, in particular in the first half, looked like the best he'd done for a while. Weirdly, it wasn't as a winger. It was an inverted winger. Doku had the keys today to come very central, cutting from that left-hand side as Josko went wide. And he suited it. He really did. He was linking closely with Haaland and Foden. Look, not everything he tried came off, but there was signs of a confident Doku again, which I really, really, really enjoyed. He faded a bit in the second half when he went to a shift on the right. For whatever reason, he did that. He didn't suit him as much, but I thought he had a good performance in that first half. And he's currently doing the press interview right now, by the way. And I thought he was good, lively, intelligent, involved. And once again, I'm going to repeat this, 21 years old, joining the probably the hardest team to the team with the biggest expectations in the world, and the team that everyone focuses and defends the best they can against. It's hard for Doku, but I think he's come in and he's done a good job, and he's had his dip, and hopefully he's coming out the other side of it. He's a smart footballer, and he reminded me of a young Sterling today, and I mean that as the biggest compliment. Of course, Sterling essentially dipped after the Lyon miss. I was chatting about this during my watch along over on Tifo, but I think there's an element of a young Sterling there to the way he drives through the middle, and I think that's a good thing. You know, if you can get clinical, start creating chances a little bit better, then you've got a hell of a football there. But once again, a young talent with loads of ability and loads of natural talent. Erling Haaland was a man that sort of caught a frustrating figure against Liverpool. People saying he needs to do more. There became a narrative afterwards for people like Jay Bothroyd, of all people, by the way. Most of you never even heard of him, rightfully so. The journeyman striker. But you raised a reasonable point about Haaland needing to be involved a little bit more. And I don't think that was lost on him. I think he's noticed the headlines, and I think he's noticed people saying that he needs to do a little bit more. And today, Haaland was dropping deep. He had about 50 touches today, which is very un-Haaland-esque. He was running at people, he was linking up, and I liked it, actually. I really liked it. Like, I think Haaland, an angry Haaland, linking up play and getting a bit deeper is absolutely something to be taken seriously. And I want to see Haaland run at people a bit more like he did today. I want to see him aggressive and linking up, and I thought he was good today. Didn't get the goal maybe that his energy levels deserved, but he looked frustrated, but I think he did his bit, and he should be proud of how he worked. Elsewhere, Bernardo, of course, 2 deflected goals, but other than that, an all-action, composed display from him. But defensively, we were good. Akanji, excellent, mature. He suits that left-sided centre-back role, which has surprised me today. He played there, and Diaz played right centre-back. And he was good. They were both really good. Guardiola thought had a good game. Walker did his defensive duties really good. Ortega made one really excellent save. I came to the conclusion during the game that Ortega is way better than average in terms of the ball at his feet. Ederson's a 10 out of 10. Like, he's unreal good. But Ortega's still an 8 out of 10. But you can definitely see that 2 out of 10 drop there in terms of quality with the ball at his feet. He's not as precise as Ederson. But once again, maybe he's a better natural goalkeeper there. So it is what it is. You give and take a tiny bit. But overall, we are into the semi-finals. Coventry City currently are there in the hat. You've got one of Chelsea, Leicester United and Liverpool. 2 of Chelsea or Leicester and Liverpool or United there to come into the draw. We've done our bit. And I think we needed that going into the international break. You know, Etihad, of course, is a fortress for us. I'm happy with that performance. I think the FA Cup is probably sort of underappreciated by some these days. And I said in my preview this morning that we've become so accustomed to the big games that we probably forget that 20 years ago this would have been the biggest game of our season. An FA Cup quarter-final against Newcastle at home. It would have been momentous for us, and I'm not going to take it for granted. I thought we were very good today, and he brings some people like De Bruyne back, Grealish back on the bench today as well, and you get everyone fit and ready, and hopefully this City side, 1 point off the top, semi-finals, Real Madrid in the quarter-final, hopefully we are geared up to do something special. Guys, I enjoyed that. We are back at Wembley again. I loved it. 5 things learned tomorrow. Let me know what you made of the game. In a bit, up you Blues. Like, subscribe. Bye-bye.